Go ahead and open up for a general statement here from the coach about the signing class, and then he'll answer questions from you guys after that.
Just really excited about this 2019 recruiting class. A group of young men that are not only great on the football field, but also in the classroom as well. They did great academically. They're hardworking. A lot of kids come from winning programs. A lot of them have been in state playoffs or won state championships as well. But just a good group of kids that I'm very, very excited about. We got some size, we got some length, and we got some athleticism, across the board as well. But this group of young men it's one of the better classes we've signed. Looking at paper, but you never know until they get here. But I think this group is going to come in and work hard and going to be committed. They wanted to be Tigers, which is important. You want kids that want to be at Fort Hays State University, not just for scholarship or whatever it might be. These guys truly want to be here and be part of this, and hopefully continue this tradition of winning conference championships and hopefully win a national championship. So I'm excited about them. They're good kids, and they're going to be fun to coach.
Looking at the list, size appears on both sides of the ball to have been a priority.
Yeah, it was. Just keep looking at our playoff games. In our conferences, we got some pretty big guys, but going against UND and the year before going against Ferris, just the size and the length that they had, across the board, I thought we lacked a little bit, and I thought our athleticism was there. It was just the size that was kind of hurting us a little bit, but that's something we were going for. Looking at our D line and our O line and just some of the skill positions with 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", across the board there. Those kids have length. Those kids have some size, and will put on some weight and put on some strength and be big kids, and they're athletic kids. They're just not big. These kids can move as well, and that's what we're really excited about.
One of the things that stands out, 18 Kansas kids. How important of a priority is it to get the Kansas kids?
I think it's always important, especially out here in western Kansas. I think any kid that's Salina and West, we need to try to get those kids. We still lost on a few of them, either getting Division I AA offers or walking on to other schools. But to me, it's huge in this area because I know exactly what I'm going to get out of them as well. They're going to be hardworking, they're going to be committed, they're going to do well in the classroom, and look at this group too. Every one of these kids comes from a great family too, and their families are hardworking as well. And but the Kansas kids is what we got to get. They know what it's like in Hays, Kansas. It's a tough place to be, and if you're not used to the landscape and the way things kind of happen here in a small, quiet town that not a lot happens in, they get kind of lost. So, but these Western Kansas kids know exactly what it's like.
Coach, I know on some of these guys, specifically Hayden and certainly Holloway too, they had been offered by other schools earlier. You guys kind of came in late and got them. What was kind of your process?
I kind of do things different. A lot of colleges offer these kids, sight unseen, or they haven't seen the kid in person. They're just kind of going off of film, and I don't really offer a kid until he gets here on campus. I want to make sure that the kid's serious about us just as we are serious about him. If I just offer kids to offer kids, and then I don't think there's a real commitment on either end. So I want to get a kid here on campus before I offer him, and that's just kind of how I do things. I want to make sure that they want to be here and they want to be part of it. I want them to see what we're about, and I don't want to offer a kid just like everyone else does, and he gets here and hates it, and now just wasted it off on somebody. So I make sure I get them here first. I want to meet them in person. I want to see their personality. I want to see their character. I try to find out as much as I possibly can about the young man. I want to meet his parents and who they are too. So I get I'm looking at the product of what we're going to get. And I want great character kids that do well academically and that want to win. And you don't know that until you truly get them here on campus.
Obviously, KU and K-State went through changes with the coaches. How much impact did that play here with you and players and such?
We didn't really lose too many, this year to walk-ons to KU or K-State. With that early signing day, that really helps us out quite a bit. There were a few preferred walk-ons, but I don't know if we had a few of our kids that had that opportunity to go to take those offers, and they didn't. We were able to get them this year. I think. Us winning back-to-back championships and getting out there and building these relationships with these young men have really helped us out and trying to change that a little bit. Not taking a preferred walk-on and actually taking a school where you got offered. So, I'm glad we got them. There's Wolfong was one of those kids that had opportunities to move on. I'm sure Holloway had other opportunities as well. There's many on this list that had an opportunity to do walk-on offers too. So, but we got them, and these kids are going to play a lot of football for us. And I think that's what was important. They're going to get to play a lot of football.
You bring in a couple JUCO transfers on the O-line, someplace where you kind of
Yep.
depleted last year because of injuries and stuff. Do you see those guys jumping in and being able to hopefully compete right away?
I hope so. They're both good size. Ted Hesting's 6'6", 340. We probably need to have him lose a little bit of weight, right now and kind of trim him up a little bit. But he's an athletic kid. He moves very, very well. Kendrick Davis is another kid. He's 6'3", 335. Another one that probably needs to lose, 10 or 15 pounds just to get a little bit more mobility. But that just comes with time and getting in our weight room and going through our strength and conditioning and doing the morning runs and things like that. But I think they're two kids that can make an impact right away. If not, at least give us some depth on the O-line. We'll still have Pat Kelly coming back who's getting healthy, and Nathan Hell will be back. So we got some guys coming back, and we got a lot of freshmen too from last year that Nick Gossage and Hunter Hayes and those guys that could fill in. We still got Gober, who played a lot of games for us last year. So I think our depth is finally getting where we want it. On the O-line, still not quite there yet. We probably still want about 3 or 4 more guys to keep that depth higher. But, I think those guys can come in and help right away, at least push to start. And that's the thing. You got to have guys competing for starting positions. And when you get that, your team gets better.
Was there a position group in particular that you really tried to target with this class?
O-line, D-line was big for us, and we only had 10 seniors last year, so the scholarship dollars, we didn't have a lot of scholarship dollars to go around, and I think that was our big need, was O-line, D-line, a couple safeties. We needed a quarterback since we lost Jacob too, so we signed a couple as well, but it's still all about competing. Those kids still need to come in here and compete and try to start, but I think those are the most important, because you look across the board year in and year out, your O-line, D-line seem to be the guys that get injured more than anybody else. So you got to have that depth and have another guy fill in. So I'm pretty pleased with it. I'm excited about it, and I think it's a good group that's going to work hard and really make us better in the long run.
You mentioned the 1AAs and some of the kids going there. How many of those kids from Kansas are you and maybe some of the other D2 schools in on that lose to South Dakota State, Western Illinois, places like that?
There's quite a few, you look around, the Shippers kid, went to Western Illinois, we were in on him, and Pori was in on him, Washburn. He had a lot of schools as well, and ended up going to Western Illinois. The kid from Pratt was another one that, we try to get up, but then South Dakota State takes him, So, there's kids in the area that they come in and get. And what really makes you nervous is, Tuesday night, Wednesday, today, is if they don't get their guy, are they going to come in and get one of these young men that I have on my list right now? So, now that they're here on my list, I feel good. But last night and this morning, until you see that paper, it makes you pretty nervous. But they do come down here, and it's hard for those kids to pass up those opportunities. And I just tell them, I understand it. If you get there and it's something that is not what you expected it to be, or you don't feel at home, it's not comfortable, and you want to come back closer to home, give me a call. Because we'll take you back, and you'll get a lot of kids coming back, to us, because it wasn't what they thought it was going to be.
Does your recruiting pitch to those kids in particular change? Because kids who go to the Power 5 schools, you're not going to get through to those, but those other kids, does the recruiting pitch change to those?
Yeah, it does. It's more about distance. The Darville kid from Dodge City went to SEMO, and we're closer. For Shippers, we're closer as well. But you wanted to be successful. They're 18-year-old kids that got to make a decision on where they're going to go, and you can't be upset with their decision. They have to make the decision and be happy with where they're going. And if you end on bad terms, you're never going to have a chance at that kid again if he decides to leave. So, I wish the best for those young men, and I hope things work out. But if not, we want them to come back, and be Tigers. And, that's helped us out quite a bit, with some of these kids, especially, on our team. We get some guys that will come back from a walk-on at KU or from a Division I AA school that, it wasn't what they thought it was going to be, and they give us a call. But you never want to end on bad terms. They're good kids, and they got to make decisions, and they got to be happy with where they're going. And sometimes you don't figure it out until you get there.
I think we ask this every year, but has this recent success and the winning the back-to-back championships, that opened the doors for some kids that maybe 5 years ago, Fort Hays State didn't have a chance to get into?
Yeah, I think so. I think it really has. Just the way that things have happened really over the last 4 years, but it still goes back to those guys that when I first got here, really buying into what we were doing and understanding the culture and the way we were changing things and believing in it. And now these kids that we're recruiting now have seen the change and see that we are winning championships and, wanting to be part of it. And, again, we were a little picky this year with what we were bringing in. And, I was pretty nervous at the beginning of the recruiting season because, we weren't getting a lot of kids in here. But everybody was wanting those kids as well. And it was just, staying to the grind and staying on top of these kids and letting them know that this was the best fit for them. And, it helped us. And, we still got 30-something kids on this list. And, we're probably going to still go after a couple more, as well. But, it's a good group, and it's a group of kids that want to be here. And that's the most important thing is they want to be Tigers and they want to be part of this program.
Coach, you talked about being kind of nervous, and I think it was 2 Saturdays ago you guys kind of brought in a large group. Was that kind of when maybe things tipped and you got some guys, or was it a certain time when you felt like, hey, now we got some guys?
It's, just over the time, when I saw you at church there, we talked about it a little bit. I mean, you just don't know, what's going to happen with these young men because you never know what they're thinking. One thing can sway their mind one way or the other, but it's, even when they do commit, you still get nervous because there's still guys going to come in and try to get them from you. So, you never know until today, and you're always uncomfortable and uneasy until today as well. But I really did. It's probably last week, about middle of last week, we started getting some commits and then more commitments. And I think it's one kid commits, another kid sees that because they've been on visits together and they've talked quite a bit. That helps out as well. That they kind of recruit each other. And try to get each other to go to the same school. So, there are best recruiters as well. When a kid commits and he goes recruits others, I mean, that's huge for you, because they get those kids here that want to be here as well and want to compete with them. So, we use those guys to our advantage. We don't tell them to do it; they just kind of do it on their own, which is cool to see.
How does one go about getting a player from Ferny Creek, Australia?
Coach Dudley, special teams, watches a lot of films, and those guys have all these. Those kicking schools and all that stuff, they have all this film, and Dudley watches a lot of it and saw Benjamin Donald on film and liked him, and he liked us, and he's got a strong leg, and he's a great kid, smart kid. It's funny because he actually graduated in December, where, here in the States we was graduating in May, where he actually graduates in December at his high school in Australia, so it's a little bit different than here. So he's already here on campus, ready to go, and is already kicking for us.
Getting on top in the MIAA isn't easy. Staying there is probably even harder. When you look at some of the freshmen coming in now, I mean, do you look 3, 2, 4 years down the road of what they're going to be doing to keep you up there?
Yeah, you do. And, a lot of that's, talking on your visit as well of, when they're on their visit, we tell them our expectations and what we expect of them when they come here. And, the type of guys that we're looking for, right? And that's what we, I don't make it easy on our recruiting trips. I tell them exactly the kind of kids we want. The first thing is the character. That's top on our priority. The type of kid that we are getting is to do things the right way. Does he stay out of trouble? We want great character kids that are smart and do things right. Then we look at the student athlete part of it. He's got to be a great student, because a lot of times you get those kids that are barely making it. They get to college and they don't make it at all, and you lose them. And then we see if they help us continue to win conference championships and hopefully win a national championship. And those are the kids we brought in. I think these kids can help us get to that, help us continue winning conference championships, and I think they're going to help us hopefully win a national championship. And those are the things we talk about. Are you that guy or are you not that guy? If you're not that guy, we don't want you. I don't we don't really beat around the bush. If you are that guy, let's get on board and let's be Tigers and let's go win some more games. And it's just kind of how we are right now. I want kids that want to be here and want to compete, and I want good kids that I want the true student athlete is what we're truly looking for now.